Yes, welcome to our lessons by SoulKey. Last time we ended up on just an introduction to object-oriented programming. So today we want to proceed from where we left, trying to describe the aspects of OOP. The core aspects, because if I say the aspects, people will be expecting every aspect of OOP, of which at the introductory level we cannot exhaust all aspects of OOP, but the core aspects we will. So I understand last time we defined the key terms like classes, objects, and we also proceeded to demonstrating how a class is created and how an object is created. So what we have to know, I know most people know that there are four core aspects of OOP, which are encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. Right, these are the four core aspects of OOP, and we are going to look on each and every aspect, and we will try by all means to demonstrate using the codes, because OOP, like what we discussed on our first lesson, that it is a programming paradigm. So it is a way in which our programs will be written, or the way in which our programs will take. So it will be best demonstrated by codes. It will be best described by codes, unlike trying to use words to describe these aspects. The codes are the best describers of those aspects. Right, the first aspect, that is encapsulation. The word encapsulation, if you try to find its definition on the Google, you might notice that it might mean enclosed in, or like a capsule. Those who know the drugs, some drugs appear in capsules, like the amoxicillin. In most cases it appears in capsules, like the erythromycin. It appears in as capsules. So it's like the capsule. Some people have once experienced that they even tried to open that outer covering. You will see that there will be some powder inside. So it is the one which will be referred to as enclosed by that capsule. So to encapsulate is like you are enclosing something. So encapsulation in OOP, we are referring to the bundling of the data together with the methods which will be acting on that data. So we are saying encapsulation. This is a process of bundling together the data and the methods acting on that data. And that is single item. Right. So when you create a class, if you still remember, on our first lesson, I said that the class is the mainstay of OOP because all the aspects of OOP will be demonstrated through the use of the class. So encapsulation, we are saying that the data together with the methods which the data will act upon will be bundled under a single item, that whenever you want to access the data, or if you want to access the methods which will be acting on the data, we will use that single unit. That is, in this case, that will be the object which will be created. So even with that class which we created last time, we did a demonstrated encapsulation, but sometimes some were not following, some were not there. So we need to create a class, and you need to try by all means so that we make it clear and make it simple for people to understand this concept of bundling. Right, so we want to declare a class here. We want to declare a class. We are in which language? This is VB also. C#. Public class. Can say patient, or you can say employee. Right. So may say employee's got name. I want it to be capital letter as string. I'd have an EC number as a string again. Employee might have salary. Right, these are the fields. Then we might have the methods which might be used to act on the data stored on this field. So let's say we have method like validate public void validate salary, or let's say this one will return a boolean. A boolean is true or false if the salary is valid. Right, boom, is salary. Oh, sorry. I thought I'm in C#. This is VB. Salary. So if we want to make it to use a function, is salary valid as what? is boolean. Right. So if salary if is numeric, salary then return 10 true, else return false. This one is not taking this. Not that one. We want to return true, false, like that. Yes. Right. This is just a function to validate the salary, to check whether it is a numeric before I accepting it. Right. Right. So that will be the method. So whenever I want to access all these, the fields and the methods, we will be accessing it through a single object. Like we will be, let's say in here we declare dim teacher is employee equals to new employee. Right. So we might want to assign some values to the teacher. Dot name equals to SoulKey, SoulKey, then teacher dot EC number equals to. So you will see that we are using this teacher to access the what, the data. So what it means is the data and even the methods will be bundled on what, on that single unit, that is teacher. Right. Teacher dot salary equals to sort of. Then even if you want to validate whether is it so if teacher dot is valid, salary valid, then console. Oh, I already imported the system. So did I imported the system? What about the console? Can even import the console class. Right, this is VB. Just say right line, the salary is valid. Right. So right, even let's say I want to display all these it means we are going to the console.writeLine. Right. So these will be the words. That's the encapsulation here is only displayed by the fact that all the data items, all the methods, as long as they are public, they are being accessed through one unit. So they have been bundled they have been encapsulated on the class. That's why if you define an object of that type, of that class type, then it means everything which you want to access, you will access it through that object. That's the encapsulation. Right. So that's the how it will be like. So that's the encapsulation. I understand you now know what encapsulation is, and you have demonstrated it with the codes. So we need to proceed to the next aspect, that is the abstraction. Right. The abstraction, sometimes it is like interchangeably with the encapsulation. Most people might even try to define it as encapsulation, or sometimes some people try to define encapsulation as abstraction. And at an introductory level, that's why I said I will not go into the nitty gritties, because surely if you want to define encapsulation at an advanced level, surely it will look as if they are the same, because in most cases we'll be saying we achieve encapsulation through abstraction, we achieve abstraction through encapsulation, but we don't want to reach that level. We want to keep it simple, we want to make it simple so that people understand, and as they grow, that's when you add more and more of that confusion which most people will be ending up with. Right. On abstraction, it's like we are hiding the unnecessary and only leaving the necessary. That is the simplest definition of an abstraction. We are saying we are hiding the unnecessary and leaving only the necessary. So we need to, sometimes there are either the data or either the methods must not be visible to the users of objects of the type of that class which we have defined. So sometimes we will hide those probably the fields or even the methods. So we achieve the hiding and the hiding and the unhiding through the use of the access specifiers or access modifiers. So we have various access modifiers and the or access specifiers, but at your level as an introductory level to OOP, we will concentrate only on two access modifiers, that is the private and the public. Right. So we said abstraction, said this is the process. This is the process of hiding hiding all the unnecessary the unnecessary details and leaving only the necessary. That is abstraction. So we will be hiding the unnecessary and leaving only the necessary. So I said we achieve this through the use of access specifiers. So I said at your level, at this level of introductory level, we have various access modifiers even in VB, but we are going to concentrate on only two, that is the private and the public, right? So how do we make it? You want to edit this class which we created, that is the employee. So we don't want the developers who are going to use this employee as the data type to see the name, the IC number, and the salary, but they will just set, and what they might even just set or get the values, right? So we need to change the public to private so that they will no longer be visible, right? The moment I change here on the class, if you go down on the main, you see that already they are no longer accessible. They have been hidden. They are no longer accessible. So with that, we need to, but the users of this class, those people who are going to use this class as the data type, they need to set the values of the name. They need to get the values of the what? Of the name. So there will be need now for the getter and the setter. Yeah, we might even, like, I'm now getting a little bit deeper, but those are the methods which we will be needed. So I will use the most simplest forms of the setter and the getter methods. I'm not going to use those ones in VB, but I'm not going to use properties, but I'm going to just try by all means to simplify it so that people will understand. People will, by the end of the day, we should have the meaning of abstraction, that the data has been hidden, and though it has been hidden, but there was another way which was provided for accessing the data and also for making some changes for that particular data. So having said that, so we need to add those methods, the setter and the getter. So let's say we want to set the name. We can say public sub set name by val n is string, right? Then we are saying now name equals to n. We have set the name. So let's say we want to get the name. So we are saying a public function get name is string. Then we say return name, right? So this get and this set, we will be setting the values of the name and getting the what. So here, instead of saying teacher dot name, we'll be saying teacher dot set name. because that's what is visible now. Wow. It's failing to cut it. Let me cut and paste it. I want it to be in the inside these brackets. Right, so the name has been set. Let us comment here. So we now want to get the name here. So you say get name was the function. Right. So if we run our program, it will display the name as, and again to like validate the display the name and right. So that issue of validating is not supposed to be something used by, not supposed to be provided by the user, or this is not supposed to be visible to the user. This is supposed to be only kept to this side, because when we set the name, the salary, I mean, that's when you are supposed to call this for validation before it actually assign the salary, the supplied salary to the what, to the value salary. Right. So we are saying public sub set salary by val is double. Right. So before validating, before assigning salary to that S, we need to check whether is S a real double, because sometimes it won't be a double. Although this one is it's okay, because this one can be converted to double anyway, but sometimes it won't be convertible. It won't be converted to double, so it might be a problem. But anyway, that's where the validation is supposed to be put. That is the if is salary valid, yes, then we put what this. Oh, does it so this one is supposed to have a was right by val so y is double. Right. So here we are saying we want to check whether that cell is a numeric. So in now one we are saying now if that one is valid, then we assign the salary to what goes to S. Else we display a message that the salary is not valid. Right, salary is not valid, so it will not be set. Right, sort of. So that's was supposed to be the. So when it comes to this now on the salary, it will be like salary dot set teacher dot set salary Yes. So the user will not be seeing that this value which have been supplied was was tested before it is assigned. The user must, it's not necessary for the user to see that. That's why the user will just say set salary and probably get salary, and everything will be okay to the user side. But it has no, that's the abstraction part, because what is not necessary must not be left visible to the user of that class. Only what is necessary should be what should be left visible. That is abstraction, right? So I don't know whether we grasped the concept of abstraction, but that's abstraction anyway. Leaving, removing all or hiding all the unnecessary and leaving all only the necessary. That's abstraction. So most people give an example of which is not relevant anyway. The example of probably of a vehicle changing a, when someone is changing the gears, when he or she presses the clutch pedal, the gearbox obviously will open such that the gear lever will move freely and it will be engaging on the selected gear. But the opening and closing of the gearbox does not is not necessary to the motorist. So that's why it was not left. It was hidden to the motorist, such that he or she will just engage. What is necessary is for him or her to see the gear lever moving. That's the example which is given by most people, though it's not a. I don't like to give those examples anyway, because people, they might continue using those examples which are not supposed to be used, because we are supposed to use the real world examples in the context of computer programming. That's what I believe. Of course, sometimes we use them to make people understand or to make people try to relate with what they know. But whenever, if it's an interview, I recommend that you use those examples which fit in the context of computer programming. Those are the examples which you are supposed to use. Anyway, I'm now talking too much on abstraction. I wanted to, because I am aiming to finish, but I don't think I will be able to finish. Might leave one. Let us proceed to inheritance. Right. Inheritance in object oriented programming language. This is a process whereby we reuse the existing code and just add the functionality which is missing on that existing code, instead of rewriting the whole code, which is sometimes contained by the existing code. We just extend, or we just inherit, we just derive the class from the existing classes. So that's inheritance. In other words, they're saying if the existing classes contain some functionalities, contain some fields which we want to use on a new class, but this new class contain some other features which are not present on that already existing class. That's when we just extend, just derive this new class which we want to create. We just derive it from the existing class. Means that all fields, all methods which can be inherited will be what will be inherited, and we just write those features or those methods which are not present on the base class. That is inheritance. I understand most people will be willing to hear that examples, those examples I mean to say, which I don't want, which I have rejected. That don't use those examples. That hey, you inherited the features from your father. Hey, what? Yes, sometimes they try to put so that people might relate, but I don't like them anyway. Right. So we said inheritance. This is a process of reusing the existing code by just extending or deriving new classes from the existing classes. That is that only inheritance. So in short, inheritance is just a process of reusing code. That is one of the strongest uh, feature in object-oriented programming languages, the issue of reusing code instead of rewriting. That's where if this POP, the procedure-oriented programming languages, will be beaten because you need to rewrite the procedure. But in OOP, if a class was defined and you want to define a class which has got the features, some of the features are the same with the existing. Now you just want to extend, just want to add. So instead of rewriting all what is present on the already existing class, you just extend it. And we are going to demonstrate it, how to extend the features of an existing class to a new class. That's what we want to do in few moments to come. Right. So we need to understand that inheritance, it's called reusing. Abstraction, hiding the unnecessary. Encapsulation, bundling the data and the methods under a single unit. Those are the terms which we discussed about. I will repeat it so that we know those concepts. Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance. Of course, we haven't talked about polymorphism, so we will not touch it. Right, now we want to demonstrate. Let's say we have the employee as this is our method employee. Then we might have another class which we might want to derive from the employee, probably the manager. The manager might have the name, this number, the salary, but the manager might even have something which is not present on the general employee. Probably the manager might have some entertainment allowances which are not present on a general employee. So instead of rewriting everything, because obviously the name need to be said, obviously although the name in this case might not be inherited because the name is private, the EC number is private, but we will change them so that it becomes a protected. Or not, I said we are going to stick with it too, so we change it to public so that it can be what it can be inherited, right? So let us extend it. Public class manager. Right. So this one now, this manager, it's not, it has to inherit the features and the methods from the employee, though it will have some other features like allowance, entertainment allowance, which is not present on the employee. Right. So this one will inherits a employee. Right. This is one convention which you can write inherit. You can put it this way, or you can write it this way. You can just put it below this one. Still, it is still the same. You just choose what you want when you are writing your code. It is still the same. So don't be troubled. Let your hearts not be troubled. Just believe in the Father and also in me. Right. Right. That's the how. So in this case, we have included all features and methods, or all features and behaviors that are inheritable from the employee. So let's want to see. We say, all right. We say here we have public entertainment allowance is double. Right. Then sometimes this one, when it is created, it wants to set default values. So we might have the sub new by val. Understand? Did I talk about this? I don't know. By val n as a string, by val we have name is number e. Oh, that is dangerous. EC is string by val. By val is left there. Let us try to work it like that. Then salary is double, and the last EA, entertainment allowance is double. Right. This sub which I am creating is we call it a constructor. It's unfortunate that we are in VB, but if we were in languages like Java and C#, the constructor will be as the name of the class, and it will make sense, especially when you are instantiating the class, because the moment you want to instantiate the class, you will say new, then you call again the name of the name of the class. But in this case, it will not be the name of the class, it will be the name of the constructor. That is the one which we'll be calling. So this is a constructor. Probably I could have not, I did not spell it out during our first lesson when I introduced you to OOP, but note to it that this is a constructor. It is a special method which is called when the object of that type is created. During the creation, that's when it will be fired. It do not wait for another time for it to be called. No, it will be fired during the construction of the method, of the object, I mean to say. Right, so here if I say name, you see, name is not visible, but if you say get name is visible, but it will be a problem because the name is not inheritable, because the name is private, it is not inheritable. But if we come here and change it to public, and this one say public and public, right? So if I say get name, oh, not get name, hey, supposed to be set name. Yes, set name n. This one will be okay because it's setting the name. Then you might even set the salary. Then you might even set the EC, but the EC there is no method up there, so we are going to set it what? Manually. EC number. You see, the EC number is visible, but you did not declare it in this class. That's what inheritance entails. That's what is reusing the code. Instead of rewriting it, it is it has taken everything which is inherited, which is public, has been taken from the base class, and that the employee will be referred to as the base class, and the manager will be referred to as the derived class. Sometimes we might call it the super class, the employee, and the manager will be called the subclass. Right, so you need to know that. 5210091. Sorry. Now it's supposed to be easy like this. Then the entertainment allowance supposed to be entertain allowance equals to entertainment allowance, right? So that's a constructor. It will set the values of the fields during construction. Sometimes you might want to have another method, let's say public sub display the details of manager, display manager details, right? So here probably we are saying right line, manager name is a get name, right? Salary. Does not have a default property. Does it have a get salary? Or there is no get salary? It seems as if there is set salary only. That's where the problem might now. Right, let's say get salary. S double. Right. Was the moment you put the set, the gate will also undo. EC number. You see, it also need the gate now. Gate is a number, so we cannot continue with that one. Let us say this one is the right. So when we get salary, when we come here on the main, it's upon our declaration now, because if we declare a supervisor as manager equals to new manager, like this, we are supposed to supply the name of the manager, Guru, then EC 0825827 M. Salary, probably the supervisor is getting 80,011. Then the entertainment allowance will be 23,000. Is that 23,000? Yeah, something like this. So then I can say right line to demarcate the employee in general and the manager. So when I say supervisor dot display details. Right. So if we run this and this, you see that the name of the manager is Mukuru, manager salary is that one. Then press N key to, because those are the features which we displayed. So that's the inheritance. So that's the inheritance anyway. Right. So for today, I think we need to end here, because people might end up having overflowing. Next time, when we come back to this issue of OOP, we will start with the polymorphism. So we need to just have a rundown of what we talked about today. That is, the first, we talked about encapsulation. That is the bundling of the data together with the methods which will be acting on the data under a single item, that is the class. Then we talked about abstraction. That's when we say this is the hiding of all the unnecessary details and leaving only the necessary. And we proceeded to inheritance. That is the process of reusing the existing code. We should not reinvent the wheel, but we just extend it. Thus, those are the three aspects of OOP for today. I thank you for listening I thank you for grasping these components of OOP. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification icon so that if you post a new video, you will be notified. That's the